Fool, this one.
What's going on, Geekdom? This is Shamunk doing another. This is more of a review and a topic discussion. So it's going to be a review regarding the Electric State, and the topic discussion is going to be audiences versus critics when it comes to movies. I wanted to do a discussion on that as well, and it is tied to the Electric State. That's out on Netflix. I have finally watched The Electric State. The Electric State is a film about a girl who is trying to locate her brother's body. She's in a world where robots and humans do not coexist well together. And so she goes into the area that they had after the humans won the war against the robots or machines, or whatever you just want to call it. She goes to the area where they kind of imprison the robots for them to stay. And she goes to try to find where her brother's body is, because that's supposed to be where he is located, or information of where he's located, like the doctor that she's looking for, who's supposed to have got him, whatever. Now this is like my little topic of the story, without trying to spoil too much of the story for y'all, because I don't want to spoil anything just in case y'all didn't watch it. But yeah, this the basics of the story. Yeah, this is, as far as just the movie goes, it's sitting at a 14 with critics, 72 with audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. IMDb is sitting at a 6.0. IMDb is more of an audience pick, and that's not bad. It's not like horrible 6.0. It's not horrible. Now, for me, The Electric State isn't a horrible movie. I wouldn't give it a 14%. To me, it's more of like a 50% if I was to go off of Rotten Tomatoes. I think 6.0 isn't bad as far as just the pick goes. Probably give it a 5.6 maybe if I were to pick. But it's not a horrible movie. Yes, there's a lot of hang-ups to it, just as far as the movie goes. But I thought, like, production-wise and everything, and it's one of the, like, highest amount, like it was 300 and something million to make. So it's one of the highest amounts of a movie given to a movie to be made. Other movies have had about 300 million, towards the making of a movie before. There's been that amount before. I'm not really concerned about that more than the story, though. I think the look of the movie and stuff, I can definitely see a lot of the effort being put into the looks of the robots and everything else, the IPs for it, the actors. There's a lot of great actors in this. It's Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, and you have Woody Harrelson. You have Hugh Quinn from Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's interesting though, because I'm like, the story isn't perfect. The story isn't perfect whatsoever, and I think that's where it kind of failed on a bit when it comes to trying to find this identity. I think they were just trying to do too much of two different type of what's wrong with having or relying on machines. They try to do too many stories when it comes to that, because the mistreatment and discrimination deal, I think, is told a lot when it comes to AI and machines and stuff like that. You've seen it with Detroit Becomes Human. I think it's a good example of a good story that really like depicts that of discrimination and stuff like that, and why it's horrible. And this is just for everyday life, not necessarily towards machines, but everyday life of why discrimination is horrible, treating others differently. But they try to tell that, and also try to tell that, you know, we're feeding too much into technology. We rely too much on technology. They're trying to tell that story as well with it. So I was like, I think they should have just relied on one thing. I think mostly the discrimination and focused heavily on the robots probably would have been a better choice. But there's a lot of things that just didn't make sense with the story, and I can see why critics didn't like that, because the whole thing with the brother being super smart, and that's why he is being used to power people's machines so they can, you know, live in a world to where they don't have to do much, because in the story people are using these technology to move machines and stuff so they can go out in the world, and they, you know, the machines can go out in the world, the machines can do the job and stuff that needs to be done. They can control it without actually being there. So they're, you know, at home and they look like they're on drugs and everything else out on the street, just looking horrible. So it's like it's a lot of just weird stuff to it. So it's like I understand the gripes and stuff that the critics and stuff are going for this movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's just, far as just, it's a plain story. I think the looks and everything will appeal more to kids, especially with how the robots and stuff are. Like, appeals more to kids. It would have been more of a fantasy story if you would have just leaned more into the discrimination and focused on the robots. And yeah, I think it would have worked way, way better. I think critics would have liked it a lot more if they would have did that too. But yeah, yeah, that's just my feelings and stuff on this. The Russo brothers made it. There's also another topic that I wanted to discuss with another content creator regarding directors and stuff when it comes to making movies. So hopefully we can do that, and this will be a discussion more with Electric State when it comes to that, directors and stuff when they make quote unquote bad movies. So yeah, hopefully that will get done. I was planning on doing it with Fantaki, a great, you know, content creator, great movie buff as well. Knows a lot more when it comes to the movies and everything than I do, but we both have a shared love of film and cinema and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get that done here pretty soon. But yeah, that's just my thoughts and stuff when it comes to Electric State. But discussion wise, I feel like there's a huge disconnect when it comes to major critics and audiences. Some audiences can be also film critics when it comes to the audience side, but they're not like specific when it comes to IMDb. To Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I feel like a lot of critics, when it comes to stuff, are very just much entertainment. They're not really into. It's a lot of stuff where you would see critics go hard on a movie but that audiences really do love. And I feel like it's a disconnect when it comes to a certain types of films and stuff where you get this disconnect. And usually it's that fantasy, superhero, action type of films. Usually there's a huge disconnect. I don't know why, though. But I feel like if you are a critic and you're criticizing, like, you can criticize a lot of different stuff. I can understand. And it may not be a forte of like and stuff like that. And the example I'm going to use is Mario, the Super Mario Bros. That did horrible with critics, but audiences loved that movie. Let's look at what it is now. So let's go back real quick. Yeah, so right now, it used to be lower, but right now it's at a 59%, still a Rotten Tomato, and 95% for audiences. So yeah, to me, it's a huge disconnect when it comes to, I feel like, when it comes to audiences and what we enjoy. Typically, when it comes to movies and stuff that's like this, It's more of nostalgia, what makes us feel great, what makes us love the film and stuff is just that nostalgia. If they're doing stuff that we typically would want in a film when it comes to something that's already been done, like Mario, we want to see all the nostalgia. We want to get the feels of us when we were kids playing the video game and stuff like that. We want that. So I feel like the movie was definitely giving that a lot, and it did its job. It did its job really, really well. And that's why audiences gravitated towards it a lot. It did its job really well. It was it the best story? No. I don't think everyone thinks it's the best story, but everybody can still enjoy it without it being like the greatest story ever. And I feel like critics tend to be harsher to stuff than they don't understand too well, or they grew up watching, or they have feelings towards. I feel like there's a lot of major critics that criticize movies that they wouldn't be into in the first place. If that makes sense. If that makes sense to y'all, that's why I was like, I can never tell because I've seen it a lot when it came to horror as well. Because some people seem like they're not into horror or anime. Some people, the major critics, don't seem like they're into anime or the style of film that is being told. So since it's not something that's really into their forte of what they like, they tend to rate it more harsh than I think they should. But yeah, I feel like more of the critics, if you're a critic, especially for a company, you should get whoever is more into those type of films or into those type of subjects, into that type of field of movies, genres, and stuff like that. You should try to find someone in your company that is into that. Like you would see major ones with like Forbes and stuff like that or whatever. When it comes to critics, and it's like, yeah, just get whoever is on your team that's really into it and let them be the judge of that film. And yeah, I don't know. It's always weird to me how that's the case, and I can never agree to it. That's why I like going to the IMDb side and see how people feel about it when it comes to ratings, because that's more of an everybody type of feel, and you're not getting the bull crap of looking at this horrible rating and then everyone's judging the film based off of what critics gave it. Because I feel like that's what a lot of people did when they're making fun of the film and talking about the film. They talk about more of how the critics rated it. So if the critics rated it this low, then it must be a bad film, and they must talk about the film negatively because that's how they feel like people would think about the film. When it's like you can kind of touch on the great things about the film. That's why I was like, when it came to Electric State, I definitely see the appeal, the look, and I can definitely tell you that it definitely seems like it would have been a huge hit if, you kind of changed up a little bit of the format. If you just changed up a little bit of the format, then I think it would have been great. But I can definitely see why audiences liked it a lot due to the look, production, and everything. It screams something that would be top fantasy. So I can definitely understand why people like it. And then some of the topics and stuff, but it just gets a little bit muddy. But some of the topics of discrimination and stuff like that, people tend to like. They tend to can understand and relate. It's that type of topic that works. That's why I was like, that's what they should have leaned towards more with than the whole AI relying on technology and stuff type of deal. That one should have been kind of more left out. And then the focus should have been on the robots and that. But yeah, that's just my thought processes when I came to this and looked at everyone's ratings. I've looked at other people's reviews, and I don't understand why people tend to lean more towards, like when you watch YouTube channels and they talk about the film, you see more of the negative push onto the films. And yeah, I don't think the Russo brothers did a bad job with it. I thought they do what they do best, and that's when it comes to looks and everything. That's was really, really good. I don't think this was their best work, but that is totally fine. They have some really, really good films, And story wise as well, they have some really good ones with some great stories. It's just this one didn't too much work as well as I think they would have thought. I don't know if that's due to control of, maybe Netflix or something like that. I don't know. You'll never know exactly why films tend to turn out the way that they are. If that was due to the creative, or if that was due to the production company, because they can change up how a film is being done as well. So yeah, you can never tell sometimes. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this though in the comments below about this discussion and everything. If y'all feel the same way that I feel, please let me know. Please let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please put a like on the video. If you'd like to subscribe to see some more of my reactions, reviews, and other topics, please do. Thank you all so much for jumping on and giving me a try. I really do appreciate it. Please do take care of yourselves and others. Peace, geekdom.